presents to you Honest Talk.
Hello folks, we are so glad to announce that today Ms. Minal Srivastava is going to join us. Ms. Minal is Vice President Growth and Strategy Marketing at Shalimar Paints. In her present role, she is spearheading the growth initiatives through innovative marketing campaigns and distilling new learnings into stories, attuned with the organization's overall brand strategy. A change leader with a rich cross-functional business experience of overall 18 years, Minal has served various key roles in her professional journey. Ms. Minal is alumnus of MICA and IIM Ahmedabad. She has also mentored numerous startups and enhanced their profitability and revenue levels. Prior to joining Shalimar Paints, she was also the lead retail expansion at Apple Incorporation's spearheading for the first ever Apple-led retail format in India and scaling the same. Ms. Minal has also added significant value to Kohler as DGM Marketing and was accountable for developing its national marketing programs and strategic planning other renowned organizations that she had associated, which include Usha, Fulcrum, and Zenith Optimedia. Ms. Minal has won some of the most prestigious awards in the field of marketing. She has recently won the Exceptional Woman of Excellence Award by Women Economic Forum 2019 and has been recognized into the top 50 most influential strategy leaders category by World Marketing Congress 2019. So let's begin our talk with Ms. Minal Srivastava.
So first of all, ma'am, thank you so much for joining and agreeing to share your thoughts with us. We are extremely very happy to have you for today's talk.
Thanks so much, Harsh.
Thank you, ma'am. So moving to the topic of today's session, which we have chosen is digital marketing versus traditional marketing. What's the difference? Ma'am, as you belong to this domain, so I request you to, ma'am, please kindly elaborate and tell in detail what are the differences.
Okay, difference between conventional and digital marketing. So I've been working for the past, I would say now around 2 decades. And this question was pretty a few years back, when there was, I would say, a strict demarcation between what is conventional marketing and what is digital marketing. Honestly, if you ask me right now, we do not have the luxury to separate any initiative between or put it into a bucket which falls under digital or not digital, because anything that you're doing right now has an element of digital in it. So whatever sort of marketing campaigns or plans that we're making, that entire campaign will have a certain element of digital as a part of it. To what extent and how does it impact it, whether it's consumer front-ending or whether it's being used in the back end to just help you interpret what's coming to you, that's something which varies between campaign to campaign and between a category to the sort of organization that you work for. But I would say we do not have the luxury right now to separate the two, because the sort of world that we're living in, the sort of initiatives that we are right now working towards, both of them are very seamlessly integrated. Earlier, for example, when I just started off my career and when we would plan our campaigns, we would clearly demarcate stuff. Like there'll be something which will be only for print and only for digital, and there'll be some campaigns which will work well in digital. But now I think there's the thought that you're working with becomes more critical, and then how do you translate that thought, and then which medium will pick up what element of the thought is something that you need to work towards. As a marketer, that's where your skill lies, so that you maintain the same thought, but you tweak it to suit the medium that you are pushing it into. But honestly, right now, even if you're using that in a conventional medium, you have an arm and leg, and you have something which is getting pushed into digital, right? So, for example, this conversation that we're having, eventually you will edit it, you will put it into different sort of, you'll edit it into different secondages to suit the sort of different audiences that you have. So you will be working on your content accordingly, right? So similarly for a campaign, that's how you end up working towards it.
All right, ma'am. One question which I would like to raise it here is, ma'am, what do you believe, which is more important, having a good product or having a good means marketing of it?
Okay, you were breaking up, but I hope I've heard you correctly. So you're saying what is important, a good product or a good marketing campaign around that
Yes, correct.
product, right? So this is a no-brainer. It's not even a choice, because if you do not have a good product, no amount of marketing can save you. That's just not possible. In fact, a lot of I consult and work with a lot of startups, and when they've got a little bit of the product in place, and the first thing that they want to start attempting is get into marketing and start building a brand for themselves, and start working towards just pushing that product into the market, and hence marketing becomes a very important element. But my advice always is that first completely figure out your product 100%. And honestly, it's not like at one point in time you would say, okay, I'm 100% like I'm convinced that this is the product and this is, I'm completely satisfied with it, because it is an ongoing work. But for one particular phase, if you say that I've reached a certain level and I've invested a little bit on my product, and this is what I feel we should be pushing into the market. And then when again, it works in phases. So you push it into the market, you will get some feedback, you will probably tweak a little bit of the product that you already have with you, and at times you will completely perhaps pivot it, in the sense that what you started off as a thought or as a imagery in your mind, when you push it out into the market, you realize that doesn't exist or doesn't stand true, so you will have to rework on it. In fact, I believe that bulk of the product, managers, when they start working on it, they have very strict or very defined notions of what they're working towards. But I think the moment you push it into the market, you have to become a little bit more flexible around it and a little bit more open around it. You should be willing to listen to what is coming to you as a feedback from the market, and you should be willing to work towards it. And you've seen many such big businesses or big brands that have come, it's a process that they follow, in the sense that it's a journey that you take and eventually end up probably being where they are. But it's a continuous journey, in the sense that you push it in the market, you get a feedback, you work on it, you tweak it, sometimes 100% completely change it, you again go back, and then keep working on it. So product is the focus and the century, like I would say everything centers around it. Marketing is peripheral, and marketing is a very strong element. I understand that marketing definitely defines what your brand and how will that proposition be accepted by the consumer. But if you do not have the product focused, or if you do not have the product product identified and cleaned up and ready with you, you cannot go to marketing. You should not go, because marketing will not help you achieve much if your product is still not completely finished.
All right, ma'am, you have covered so much. I think it will be much fruitful for our viewers too. Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing all this. Ma'am, my next question to you is, what do you believe, what are the key elements of marketing?
So, key elements of marketing. Marketing is pretty, and specifically now, because initially marketing was defined as probably just a piece of communication that you were working towards. So there'll be a campaign that you're working. So there'll be elements to it. There'll be advertising. There'll be events. There'll be PR. There'll be digital. There'll be website. All of that. But for me now, and after having worked in many organizations, I think marketing is, and the way it should be defined, is that it's a custodian of experience that any consumer is having with your product, right? So be it customer service, be it retailing, be it any interface that the consumer has, whenever he sees any piece of communication about the product or the brand, that marketing 100% owns. And if you structure your organization like that any interface that the consumer is having with the product, and it can happen at a retail store, it can happen on a digital platform, it can happen on any media platform that you push that communication on. Everything has to be cohesively owned by marketing. That's one part of it, experience. And how does that experience translate into business? And that's a very, I would say, touchy topic amongst our community, like marketers. That do you really own the revenue? As in, are you responsible for it? Are you a business manager in the sense that are you also responsible for revenue, or are you just responsible for marketing and experience, like I term it? So, because marketing is a long-term game, in the sense it's not like, if you start off something and then you will see the result in the next quarter or immediately in the next month. You have to be at it continuously and stay on the path for a very long time for it to eventually give you result. So it needs investment, it needs commitment, it needs the persistence from an organization's perspective to stay there for a very long time. So a lot of times organizations do not put revenue as a KRA, like a responsibility for marketing. And I think that's a missing piece, because while I understand it takes a lot of time for marketing to deliver result, and for you to really see that result translated to business. But if a marketing person does not wear a business hat from the word go, then maybe it doesn't, in the long run, maybe that profile will not do justice to the business. Because under marketing, and it's a creative space, it's like, entire world opens up to you, in the sense that there's so much that you can do. So there's no lack of ideas, there's no lack of effort, energy, execution, that you might want to do for your client. So I'm not saying that there's a lack of willingness to do that, so every marketer will want to do it, but a lot of it depends on how the organization is structured. And it's a complicated thing, in the sense that it's very easy to say, okay, marketing is also responsible for revenue, but how do you measure it? And then what do you give for short term versus long term? And if you just keep focusing on short term revenue gains, then do you not really look? So what is the balance between the two? Because anybody, like any layman, like you, even that building if you've not even been in the workspace for long, or any organization, you would know that building a brand takes time, right? It will take probably years for you to really start giving results. But that doesn't mean that you discount revenue and the size of business that you're working for, right? So there has to be healthy balance. But honestly, Harsh, Habibi, a lot of organizations haven't cracked it because it's a little difficult to put a number to it. So it always falls in a gray area. So people really do not manage to assign a number that marketing should be responsible for. So, but for me, as in personally, the entire experience with the consumer, completely 100% owned by marketing, and I would say even revenue. But to what extent is something that depends, depends on how the organization structures.
All right, ma'am. Ma'am, as nowadays our life is so much influenced by the social media, so how do you look at social media marketing?
So, one of the, I think, when you ask me first of all, what is social media marketing? And a lot of times, social media marketing has become like another media platform that's available to you. Right. So because I think, and a lot of it happens because a talent that's working on that space comes from a conventional, like you were asking me, conventional marketing versus digital marketing. So they come from a conventional marketing setup. Even for me, 20 years ago, life in the world was very different. So you grew in an era where there was no, internet wasn't used so much. It wasn't a part and parcel of our life like it is right now. So there's a way, I think a lot of people use social media as another media platform. Like you advertise on TV, you advertise on radio, and hence you also advertise on social media. Now, social media is not a one-way communication. Social media should not be used for just saying that, okay, here I am a brand and I'm making ABC and you should buy me because my ABC is better than somebody else's XYZ, right? For that you have TV. TV does essentially that, right? Because you will not have a dialogue. So nobody can come back and say that, hey, I saw your ad, like if the TV ad is coming. So nobody will come back and tell you or give you a feedback on the ad that you're running, right? But social media is different and completely different animal, only because that's the only medium where a dialogue is possible. And it's a very powerful tool for any marketer, any business, because it gives you a completely direct feedback on whatever you're doing, whether it's a campaign, whether it's a new product launch, whether it's the sort of business that you're running, everything that you're doing. Social media is the first, if you do something there, that's the first space which will give a response back to you. And hence it gives you the freedom to work around things if it doesn't work, or probably carry on with what you're doing if it is going well. So the way you look at it has to change. And I think a lot of times people do not invest, do not try to figure out the difference between the two. And hence it becomes like any other media platform. So social media for me is very critical, and specifically for a small brand. Because for a small brand which cannot afford to spend huge amounts of money on media, for example, television is completely off the chart for a small brand because it's too expensive. And the other is, a lot of times a small brand is not geographically spread all over. Social media gives you that flexibility to reach out to a very specific audience set in a particular geography. So again, the power is in your hand as a business person, which a lot of other mediums do not have. So you should use it well. And how you do it, how exactly you utilize that for your business, again, it's very specific to the category or the business that you're working for. But if you ask me again, I would term it extremely high on my list of if I were rating my media choices. Why? Essentially because I am working for a brand which is small and existing in a very cluttered category. So it somehow it makes this entire process of building, it democratizes the entire process of building the brand. So even if you do not have a lot of money, you can still afford to build a brand. And that can happen only through social media, not through the conventional media platforms that exist. Hope I did not get too technical, and that's
no ma'am, it was really an amazing answer. Ma'am, my next question to you is that ma'am, do you believe if we talk about the upcoming future, will social media marketing or digital marketing will replace the conventional marketing?
No. So yes, I know there's a lot of hope around it, and and I did mention to you that it's in my list, that my topmost. But honestly, if you ask me whether I can afford to live without conventional, no. So when you want to have scale, you will need to go back to conventional, because India is too huge, right? And it's too. So the moment you become a certain size, the economies of scale work more on conventional media than social media. And the other thing is, what I feel lacking for social media specifically is the way the content is being created. We do not have good enough talent to work on it. Hence, and talent which can think of social media as social media and not like any other conventional media platform. So that talent is very limited, good talent, so brands struggle there. And hence social media does not pick up as it should. And eventually, when you reach a certain size from a business scale perspective, your conventional media becomes A, easier, B, gives you the scale, C, helps you grow faster. Social media will take some time, but the moment you add on a conventional media into your portfolio, it suddenly helps you grow very, very fast, if you can afford it, that is. So I don't think it'll be ever a time where it'll completely 100% replace conventional media. But yes, the balance will tip a little bit. And again, a lot of it depends on the category that you are in, the sort of product that you're selling, what sort of consumers are you targeting. Maybe in some particular very niche consumer segment or geography, maybe you might do away with conventional completely. But again, it depends on if you manage to completely segregate consumers geographically and particular niche. A lot of business, when it is a little bigger, it doesn't work like that. Then you spread all over. Then you're addressing to a lot of consumer segments. So it becomes difficult to do that. But when you're small, it is definitely possible.
All right, ma'am. So, ma'am, my next question to you is that, ma'am, what do you feel? What are the advantage of conventional marketing over the digital marketing or social media marketing?
Like I said, advantages of conventional media platforms would be that it gives you scale and it helps you reach out to a lot many people at the same point in time than what social media could do. And you have the flexibility on, but it completely depends on the size of business that you're managing. So, and advantages of social media would be the flexibility on the content, the feedback that you get, how quickly you can change. You can do multiple things for multiple segments. You can have a new product launch communication happening. You can have a separate one on brand happening. So it becomes easier for you to tweak. It becomes easier for you to change. So it has its advantages, but again, like I said, the bigger problem is content. How do you, because it's not, and one is make that content and the other is monitor and then start a dialogue with the consumer. Consumer is not somebody who's sitting just across the screen taking in your ad, right? He also needs to have a conversation on it with you. So there's a lot more that goes behind on that. So then who will monitor that content? So there's another separate vertical almost that you need to have if you run that piece. So it becomes too huge in the sense, you also need to start investing in it because you'll have to make that content, push it, then you'll need somebody to monitor it, then you need somebody to have a conversation with and be accessible to the consumer. And there are multiple platforms that are there, so which ones do you choose? Do you choose all? Do you start working on all of it at the same point in time? Do you create something of your own? So multiple choices. But again, I would say it gives you a lot of flexibility and strength as a marketer, but it's a difficult thing to execute. It's a lot more hard work than I would say conventional media, because conventionally you would just make something and push it, right? Uske baad kya hota hai, you really can't do much, so you just live with it. Here you have to be on your toes at every point in time, and you have to keep checking, revising, reworking. So it needs a lot more hard work, I would say. Hope I answered your question.
Yes, ma'am. It was really amazing answer once again. Ma'am, I don't want to waste you much time. So moving to my last question of this session, what do you believe, ma'am, what will be the future of marketing?
So again, like I said, future of marketing will be that it'll become more business oriented than what it is currently. So you will have a responsibility of revenue as well, and not just the experience of the consumer. And since the moment you wear a business hat, then everything that you see under marketing will change, because that's when marketing again will start looking at things a little differently. You will not push an initiative or push something just because it might be the right or the best way to build a brand and might be really good for the brand imagery per se, but maybe at that point in time it will not give you as much business returns, right? So if you also wear a business hat, maybe you will push that a little later. You will not probably take those decisions at that point in time. So the way the marketing is thought and strategized and then planned for the entire year, maybe that will change because suddenly then you'll also be responsible. Any initiative that you're doing, there'll be a certain amount of responsibility on your head, even for business. So you will try and so hence all your initiatives will change a little bit. And you will assign different values to whatever you're doing. So, and I think that's the way forward. But like I said, it is a difficult thing to work towards, because it's very difficult to assign a value to marketing and a revenue value to marketing. And again, when you're small, it becomes a little easier, because anyways you small and you don't have much money with you, so whatever you do should help you give business. But when you become bigger, then there's so many elements to even marketing that comes into the picture, that it becomes very difficult to really revenue number onto marketing. So but I would say eventually, I think even bigger organizations will start looking at it like that. And I think that will be the right way to do. But the way it's done, maybe we'll have to figure out how to do it.
All right, ma'am. It was really a wonderful message from your side, and also it was a wonderful session with you and healthy discussion over the topic. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining and giving your important time. We look forward to conduct more session with you. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining.
Thanks so much, Harsh.
Thank you.
It was nice talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you.